Hello, I've put together a memory box to show you some of the items that I find personally important to me. The first thing I have in here is a teacup and saucer that was given to me as a graduation present by my high school librarian. She gave these out to all of the graduating seniors that had helped out in the library and that were part of the book club there. And I could tell more stories about it, but I'll wait for that another time. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, I remember this. This is a dinosaur puppet that I got when I was very little. I named her Daphne. And I remember when I first got her, I really liked dinosaurs, like a lot. Like I would go to the sandbox, bury lots of dinosaur figurines, and then dig them up and keep doing that over and over again. And I remember the first time I got her, I think I brought her to preschool probably every day for about a month. And I have plenty of stories about her, but she's not what I'm going to be talking about mostly today. And what else is there? Speaking about other stuffed animals, this was my father's teddy bear that I found one day when I was at his mom's house. And I thought it was really weird because if you can see, he's not very fuzzy and he has little patches of hair and very jingly ears, and I have a few stories with him too. But what I'm going to be focusing on for most of this video is going to be this giant thing I'm going to try pulling out of this suitcase. And it is this. This is a music box that belonged to my great-grandparents, and now it is here at my grandparents' house. And it is very fragile and old, and I'm very hesitant about keeping it on my lap, so I'll just sit it beside me on the couch and keep it open. As you can see up here, these are all the songs it can play. It can play about 8. And I'm here to tell you about what this means to me. It was bought by my great-grandparents in the 1880s, and they bought it because at the time, if you really wanted to listen to popular music at the time, you had to go out of the house. You either had to pay to see it at a concert, or if you were musically inclined, I guess you could learn how to play an instrument to get to know how to do it. But they didn't have radio, they didn't have record players. But then music boxes came along and you could get whatever songs you wanted on them, and people really liked that idea, so they asked to have their favorite songs put on the cylinder inside that plays the music, and they would just go crazy and run around, and it was just really fun. They had it, I'd heard stories about it where they'd go home in the evening and just be able to take out the the crank, and you crank up the music box on the side, put in a coin, and then just let the music play, and they'd let it run during the night and kind of dance and just have fun all around. And they play it when they're alone or just with guests as background music, and it was really fun to hear about it. And then fast forwarding to about 1997, I was a rambunctious, very excitable 5-year-old, and I found this in my grandparents' living room one day because it was up behind a couple couches on a counter, so little kids couldn't get to it since it's pretty old and fragile. So I found it and had no idea what it was because I always thought it was just a pretty wooden box. And then I actually opened it one day and found out what was inside. And to me it just looked like a weird little spiky cylinder with some pennies on top. And I asked my grandpa, it's like, "Grandpa, what is this?" He said, "Well, you told me it belonged to my parents, and now it's mine." And he cranked it up, and he put a penny in, and I just watched it for probably a whole cycle of all the songs, just seeing it go around and around and seeing I wasn't used to this type of music being played, because usually I'm used to seeing instruments, guitars, pianos, hearing vocals and stuff, but not just a tune. But it was really nice to watch and just see how it was actually doing it. And then after that, after I'd figured out how it worked, then I began to dance around and just have fun with it. And I used to do this every time I came over to their house. I'd just run straight to the music box and crank it, and then dance to music. But then one day, about a year later, I cranked it up like normal, and then it made a very loud cracking sound. And I just got stopped and froze. And I dropped the handle on the ground, and I just stared at the box. I picked up a penny and put it in, but nothing happened. And then I shouted, like, "Grandpa, what did I do? I think I broke it. Oh no. What did I do? Did I break this thing? Ah." And then he came over and looked at what I'd done, and he just kind of laughed and said, "You didn't break it. You're okay." Patted me on the head. And he told me, "Kaylee, it was alright. You just cranked it too far. It's easy to fix. I'll show you." And he showed me where you put the crank in the machine, and he fiddled with it a little bit, and then it started playing again. So then I just was relieved that I hadn't broken it, and this important family piece that was the only thing that really connects me to my great-grandparents, since I never met them as a child or now. And now still, when I danced around with it as a kid, I still felt that I was communing with my great-grandparents, and like it felt like I was dancing with them when I dance around all silly in the living room. Thank you for listening to my story.